Good morning, children. Today I want you to take transitive and intransitive. Those who understood active voice, passive voice, easily you can understand transitive and intransitive. What are the clues we learn in the active voice, passive voice? The same clues we are going to know here. Okay, ma? Actually, in the active voice, we are going to separate three. Now, one is the subject, number two is verb, number three object. Here also you are going to find the three in the transitive. Okay, so subject, verb and object. When we have these three, we will get the full meaning. Okay, when there is no object, we won't get any meaning. Okay, we'll get the only half meaning. But what is we are going to know? What are the clues to find the transitive or intransitive? Listen carefully, and what clues you remember in the mind, not in the notebook. Okay, ma? So here, Mrs. John is sweeping the floor. Mrs. John is sweeping the floor. Here, what is the subject? Mrs. John, subject. Is sweeping is the verb. Is sweeping is the present continuous tense. ing where we added, that is the continuous tense. When we see the is present tense, this is known as the present continuous tense. Okay. So the floor. What Mrs. John sweeping? Where Mrs. John sweeping? The floor is the object. Is it clear, ma? Okay. First one is John. What John is doing? Mrs. John is sweeping. Where she is sweeping? The floor. That is the object, verb and subject. One more easy clue I will tell. When there is three, subject, verb and object, when we are going to change that sentence into passive voice, okay, this sentence change into passive voice, easily you can say that is the transitive verb. Okay, have you remembered what are the clues I told when you are learning the active voice and passive voice? We'll try. This is the object. Object comes to the subject place. What is the object here? The floor. The floor. The floor is the singular. Okay. So here present continuous tense is there. Have you remembered what I told? Present singular plural, past singular plural, continuous tense singular plural. Okay. I will tell again. Okay. Here is sweeping. We added ing to the verb. This is the continuous tense. Okay. When we added the ing, that is the continuous tense. When we see the helping verb, we can say easily that is the present continuous tense. Okay, ma? So, the floor, when there is a is sweeping, the floor singular form is there. ing is show the present tense singular helping verb. Why we written is here? The floor, only one floor. That is the uncountable. Okay, ma? So, the floor is, where is the ing? Instead of the ing, we have to add being. Where is the ing? Maybe past or future, whatever, wherever ing. In the place of the ing, we have to add being plus past participle of the sweep. Swept. Swept by whom? By Mrs. John. By Mrs. John. So when you change into passive voice, easily you can say this is the transitive one. While you are learning transitive and intransitive, easily you can remember active voice and passive voice also. Okay, ma? Is it clear? Is there any doubt? So, first you divide three parts, subject, verb and object. When there is the object, definitely that is the transitive verb. Why? Because we can easily change into passive voice. So, when we are going to change, that is the intransitive. That too, next one, this floor. Floor is the object. Object of the verb is the sweep. When there is a connection to the object to the verb, that is known as the transitive verb. It can take anything. Is it clear, ma? The next one, intransitive. Intransitive. Birds fly. Is there an object? No, birds fly. Only we got the half meaning. Birds fly. Where? That is another one. When there is a where, you can get the transitive. So, birds fly. Birds fly, there is no object. So, that is the intransitive. They do not require the object. Do not require the object. Where there is no object, that is known as the intransitive. Next one, next example I will give. John loved himself. John loved himself. Is there a object? No. John loved himself. This is also intransitive. This is also intransitive. Okay, ma? So, what are the grammar you are learning? Don't leave anywhere. Please, you have to remember all the clues in the mind, not in the notebook. This is not the subject. Again and again I am saying. Okay, ma? So, if there is any doubt, you clarify the doubt. Don't keep like that only. So, transitive means easily you can remember three. Subject, verb and object. Where there is an object, that is the transitive. Where there is no object, that is the intransitive. Okay, ma? Is it clear? Shall I give some examples? Can you write whether don't need to change whether it is the transitive or intransitive? You write that only. No need to change. Okay? To easily understand, I gave the example. While we are changing, that is the transitive. When there is no object, that is the intransitive. So, to remember, I gave the example. By this, now you have to write only transitive or intransitive. Okay, number one. Peter is eating a mango. You have to write only transitive or intransitive. Second one. Pinky is sleeping. Pinky is sleeping. The child crying. Okay, these three. Peter is eating a mango. Pinky is sleeping. The child crying. Or the child is crying. The child is crying. You mention only transitive or intransitive. Once again, I wanted to tell transitive and intransitive. Transitive, we are going to say three parts. Number one, subject, verb and object. When there is an object, that is the transitive one. When there is no object, that is intransitive. And one more clue, easy clue, blind clue I gave. What I gave, no? When we are going to change the transitive to transitive verb, the active voice to passive voice, that is the easily you can say that is the transitive one. When there is no change, when there is no object, that is the intransitive. Okay? Bye.